You wanna fuck with me?
Ahora, encima, sigue.
Fuck you with yes?
Síguelo ahora. Síguelo para acá.
You wanna fuck with me? Okay. Cockroaches.
La puerta ancha.
You wanna play games? Okay. I'll play with you. Come on. Okay. You wanna play rough? Okay. No. Say hello to my little friend! Okay. You wanna play rough? Okay.
Guten Abend, you all lovely lots out there on the interwebs. Jerry, how is it with you? Is the heat still that terrible in your place?
It's still terrible for me. I think it's currently 19 degrees. Although it takes most of the day to get up to that. So, the hottest part of the day is not midday like it should be in the real world. Hottest part of the day is around 5 p.m.
Yeah, same.
when it's had
here.
a run up.
Yeah, same here. At that point, it's getting ridiculously hot, and I'm starting to sweat like an animal.
Animal sweatings.
Yes, peaks and stuff. Hello, Crazy Redcoat, Manda, Toros, Dutch, and all the ones who are not saying anything. Welcome on, welcome all.
Just sitting there watching you.
Yeah,
quietly.
I'm when Warren last weekender was it? I think said, well, if we ever don't do a weekender again, the community can do one. And I sat there and thought, yes, I know Jerry told me that there won't be one next week. Well, what I did know that there would be some sort of live shenanigans going on.
Terrible live shenanigans. The UK Virtual Games Expo.virtual.com.
So you will be forced to sit in your room waiting for any calls.
No, I may be forced to go up to the studio.
Oh, that's even worse.
And try and field calls in there while operating buttons on a rig they're setting up. So there's going to be multiple channels because there's pretty much a constant live stream from us talking to board gamey type companies and some RPG companies. Then there's going to be another separate stream which will be the UK Games Expo's channel where they have other things going on, and then they've also got a Discord server where people can play games and stuff. It's all very confusing.
Tuffy, I passed my spot hidden check.
Never pass your spot hidden. I don't know why this is so difficult for people to understand.
We're not in game, so it can't be bad, can it?
Oh, it can always be bad.
Also, I'm not Lena level insane yet. I'm pretty sure I'm still most of the time the more sensible of any of us.
I think so, but that's not going to stop me from shooting all of you.
Yes.
When the madness kicks in.
Let's not go all. Today, drink of the day, Dutch, is a terribly boring lemonade.
Brown lemonade or white lemonade? Oh, your lemonade's kind of yellow. That's not right.
Oh, but it is. I have to shake it a bit because it's a very, very natural made one. So there are floating pieces in it. I see all the eyes. Yes.
Hola, Panzer.
Panzer kaputt. Hello. Panzer kaputt today, I don't know, Jerry, if you have seen it, went a bit mental on the Discord because of the on-tabletop project system nearly driving in up the walls and down again.
Oh, I was too busy trying to Zoom calls and stuff today, so I didn't look near anything. I imagine it was just there to specifically to annoy Pete. That's generally what we do. I've actually asked them if they have anything to do that will delay, fuck up projects or hang up the system, is to hold it for a Tuesday to really impact the people who want to get stuff onto this in particular. So Tim just accepts that this and the weekends are the best times to do things.
Especially when traffic is high.
And then we leave it alone on Wednesday mornings and stuff like that.
Well, Taros, can't be helped. Get yourself a drink. So, we have a very short entry to start with. Skycom, however we want to pronounce that.
Hi, com.
And he does
Like Sega.
Blackstone Fortress. You mean Saga?
Yeah. This is apparently going to be a speed painting type thing. So I'm curious as to how quickly the speed painting will be. Because we've just got the first entry up so far, which is some form of flaming lunatic, Pius Vorn,
I was about to
in a
say...
Statue of Liberty colour scheme.
He reminds me a bit of that one dude in the Mad Max movie that strapped before all the drums and amps.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Only different color. Maybe a cousin?
It's a good look. It is a good look. If that's just been done quickly using oils and contrasts, it's very good. I like it. I approve. The skin tone is particularly smooth.
Yes, it is. The mixture of contrast and oil paints is somehow like that. Those are opposite sides of the spectrum of paints for me. You have the contrast paints, which is the, let's say, for the very untalented people like me, and then there are oil paints for the ones for the likes like Van Gogh.
No. Oils are for people who have even less talent than contrast-based people, because you have like 2 weeks to complete your painting. You know, contrast, if you put it down wrong and then it dries, it'll dry patchy, and that's horrible. Oil, you can just go, I'll put it down now, and then I'm going to come back tomorrow and put the white down, and then to come back the day after and start blending the two together, and I'm done. Yeah, by the end of the week I'll finish that. Beautiful blends.
Well,
So.
maybe my reception of how oil paints work is wrong. Then maybe sometime in the future I will.
It's a different skill set, because at no point can you go sit and hold this and throw that on and then not pay attention to what you've just painted, because that will still be, malleable, workable hours. Even if you use something like Liquid to speed it up, it's still workable hours later, and you can still add solvents or thinners to it to get it to reactivate. So it's very easy to smudge something that you've just spent some considerable amount of time and effort doing.
So no sneezing in the close vicinity to freshly oily paint miniatures.
Certainly at no point should you ever drop them on the floor, because you will find every bit of lint and hair in the world.
Or have the cat jump onto the table.
No, none of that. But yeah,
Excuse me, a moment.
as far as, are you going to fetch your cat?
No, cat
Okay.
is dead for some years. But you remember,
You shouldn't keep it in your room then.
it smells so nice. Also, I need the fur for my static grass applier.
Oh, yeah. Makes sense.
You remember our little challenge between the different Kickstarters?
Yes.
Mine are here and painted, partially.
Yeah, mine are still being sculpted.
This is insanely fast.
That was ridiculous.
It's
turnout.
scary.
That was more pre-order than you were worried about it fulfilling. You already had everything done.
It
was just sitting waiting to put the stamps and address.
it was literally-
the boxes stamped and was just waiting to write addresses on it.
It was literally meant to say, we're shipping in September. We are now mid-August, and I've built and primed them. It's just awesome. But they did not only send my order, but a little card with saying, "Thank you for promoting our Kickstarter."
Oh, that's delightful. I have a
Yeah.
few of them about from Westphalia and stuff.
And it's even more polite because they threw in a ghast
Ooh.
for free.
Oh. Well, that was delightful of them, wasn't
Yes,
it? Lovely people.
very much.
I got that one when I did Terry, his first Kickstarter for his confrontation-esque terrain. That's something I want to do when we do the end of the week. There's a couple of really nice terrain companies I'd really like to feature, but I have absolutely no doubt I'll be shouted down on the grounds there are no miniatures in them.
Well, it says Indie of the Week, which refers to the independent manufacturer.
That's not going to stop them. There's no miniatures to look at.
Well, tell them, sod off. or
There.
we could take that you can make a list of indies of the week that should be mentioned, and when the next community-driven weekender comes, we just run with the concept. Also, we suddenly started a trend collecting thank you cards, business cards from Kickstarters.
Yep. That one's not
that's
from
cute.
Kickstarter. That's a geologist in Stockholm who likes dinosaurs. It's on the back of her business card.
Well, that's something you
know.
always want to see.
Yep.
Having fun in your profession. There was something more on my mind. I can't put my finger on it now. Probably wasn't important then, or maybe I will bite myself in the rear end close to the end of the show. When
You know
I
what they say.
suddenly start to remember what it
If
was.
you can't remember, it must have been a lie. That's what my mum always said.
She's a wise woman.
Yeah, so SciComm, it will be interesting to see how quickly he gets these things up for Blackstone and what sort of colour schemes we get, because I'm impressed by that.
I'm just seeing he's getting inspiration of the style painting from the Ink 28 community. To be honest, I nearly forgot about that magazine because I'm a terrible person, and it's not a physical thing that's lying around, having to be picked up every now and again. So I'm always forgetting to read that bloody thing.
Inquisitor 28mm. If only GW had thought of doing that instead of releasing it in 54mm, which did look very nice.
Those minis were nice, I give them that. And maybe as a display piece they should have stayed, but
Yeah.
a skirmisher game would have been much more appreciated, I think.
Yeah, well, a skirmish game in a scale where people already had
Yes.
miniatures and terrain.
But that
worked
was
for him.
probably the problem. You can't make more money out of people if they don't
Buying
really
the same
feel
thing,
buy anymore.
Don't worry, they didn't make much money out of people for that anyway.
Well, that's probably true. So
Still don't know where my copy of the book went. I imagine one of my thieving bastard flatmates has it.
terrible people.
Not that mattered, I was going to give it to Shredhead if I could find it anyway, but no. Meh.
Well,
Not there.
I'm definitely looking forward to see what this SciComm fella is doing with the next.
Yeah,
Update.
first project as well, so every weekend and give him abuse. I mean, tell him he's doing a good job.
So we welcome him in the ranks of all things tiny fighting man, and now he's on TV and famous. Suck it up, get painting. Next up, then, is Into Shadow Deep by Taoki.
Yes.
What is this, Jerry? I see trees.
Of green. Red roses too.
And suddenly there's a helicopter bombing the hell out of us.
We had a look a little while ago at this, and it just done the 3D printed trees and I think some spiders.
Let's scroll down then if we see any spooders.
Or if we didn't, then I certainly did.
I think
Yeah.
you did, because
Oh,
I would have
I did.
remembered
Okay.
those. Did you show this to Justin?
Somebody else said that. I should do that.
That was the little demon on your shoulder. Olina.
Well, better call him A, better call him B. But yeah, so it's a nice little start where some giant spideros on the go anyway.
This looks a bit fluffy.
With the deep in shadow. I quite like them because they're all. It's not like people have a tendency to go, I'm going to paint spiders. There's like 6 spiders. They'll all be painted the same. Pretty much all of these have got their own little unique color scheme.
And not only color scheme, they also look very different.
Yeah.
Which is a very natural thing for insects to do.
Yeah. What was it? Somebody said. Whenever God's bored, he just creates another beetle and sticks it in the Amazon. It's the way it's his version of having a cigarette. I'll just make another beetle. Nobody will know. They won't notice I hadn't been there before.
Crazy.
So,
Crazy
yeah.
Red Coat is lying in chat. That wasn't perfect. That was pitch perfect. Oh, now I remember what I wanted to tell you. I'm digressing again. Sorry, everybody. Jerry, have you seen I've taken up your idea with the YouTube links collection?
Have I? No.
I've started a project, and each individual channel gets an entry with since when is he doing stuff, what is he doing, is he posting regularly, and the link.
Ah, cool.
And there have been 2 other participants who have supplied a lot of links. We are currently on page 2 with entries for YouTubers. There are a lot of them. Occasionally,
Really, I know some YouTubers who post 3 to 5 times a week.
there was the one or two were in there that do really more than once a week, but most I found do 1 or 2 times a week tops.
Yeah.
Or like Tabletop Minions once every Friday and the every other Sunday, and every other Sunday then in contrast to that is for his patrons. So for patrons basically 2 times a week.
So you've got Curtis from Tabletop Commanders, and he does 3 to 5 patent chats, and then occasionally does let's plays or reviews as well, as and when, and that's just constant. Sometimes it's just never stops.
No, if people start making money from it, I definitely see why they keep doing it.
Oh, was that what it was? The Kraut Channel project? I seen that come up, but I thought that was another one of those. You linked something about details for YouTubers and Twitch streamers and
You mean the OBS Basics?
Yeah.
No, the OBS Basic was a tutorial.
So I just skirted that one.
That channel was uCrowd. The name is from the German Facebook group where the German YouTubers are collectively helping each other out on and are showing what they're up to, and are doing collaborations and stuff. And there's a blog page I myself curate where I aggregate all these posts on another instance, so just pushing them out a little bit further. And I simply thought, well, uCrowd is as good as a narrative for that as any.
I must have a nosy at some point. Yeah, Steve, my frequency of videos is when somebody asks a question that is easier for me to answer in video form, I'll do a video for it. Like when somebody goes, how do you do fur? And then I'll do a fur video. And then that'll be it. And it'll be another 7 to 8 months before I need to do it again.
Well, you get paid to make other videos, so there's no harm in that, I guess.
It's the best way. But even before I was being paid to make videos, that was more or less the speed at which I worked. Anyway.
So he has done spiders, and after that he did 3D printed trees.
3D printed trees. After digging out the toys from Woolworths, he decided to get all technologically advanced with trees, and including the ones I like the best are the ones where they failed. So the next post, the post above this, where you've got ones that fucked halfway through and are just stumps now. I was just like, well, that's fine. I'll just make a stump. Grand. Let's move on.
Nothing wasted.
Yep.
Nothing lost.
Yeah.
Time well spent.
And it's similar to the ones Warren's using for his, only without going over the top spooky forest. I really like the background he's got for that.
Yes, that's looking very nice. The ones Warren uses, weren't those from Dwarven Forge or some company?
I think printable scenery. I think. So it might actually
something
be the same
ridiculous
person.
expensive.
Yeah. But I think it's actually the same trees as these, but without the canopies on them.
They look quite similar. I give you that. But I don't
think the leaves
they're
are
the same.
optional extra.
The trees, I think the ones for Warren uses have bigger tops, but I may also be misremembering that.
Gnarlier bits.
And he's using a green screen that isn't a really background.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yes.
Oh, how clever is he?
Cheeky bastard.
Oh, look at
Using
him
a
with
high-res picture and a green
his
screen.
photo manipulations and stuff. Huh?
He does paint good, and now he's doing technical things good. Does he really need any more, what you call it, when you empower someone, when you give him
Plaudits?
praise? No. Oh, sod it. My brain is halfway in bed already. Those look sad. Those miniatures.
They're fine. Look at them. She's even come out to this battle with her kid.
Yeah, and the other one isn't freezing at all in those northern heights with nothing on but a blanket.
No. Gripping Beast peasants, they're not bad. They're better than some of Gripping Beast's mainline figures for people's collections. They're more or less in proportions.
Well, very nice clean paint jobs.
Yeah.
No smudges, no smearing. And the bases definitely look different with these, let's call them tea leaves, because that's no static grass.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it is herbs.
Reminds me a bit of the bases of old from GW. Goblin green rims and...
Flock, it's the way to go.
Flock.
Well, difference a few months makes. Rangers of Shadow Deep related company, Modifius. Ah.
Maybe he didn't find a proper company.
Well, Modifius are now selling it. They're selling it in a hard-backed premium version.
Ah.
Probably with a set of things from the Flood dice. Because every time I get something from them that's supposed to have unique dice, it's got the same fucking dice.
Yeah. Special dice, curse and gift at the same time. At least in my book. I like it when I have a dice that is made for a specific task, but I also hate the fact that there are never enough of them.
Just black dice. That's the way to do it. Some people still paint them red. Depends what you're painting, I suppose.
Who's painting what now?
Bolter casings.
Oh yes, I do. Encouragement. Yes, crazy. Thank you. That was the word I was looking for.
I still think plaudits is better, although I would accept accolades as a backup.
Well, that drives me into dictionary territories, and I can't be asked to pull my dictionary out now. What is it with Twilight 2000? Is that some sort of movie?
No, does sound like it, but no. It's an old game that is currently being revamped on Kickstarter.
Again.
No.
But I think I have to derail this again for a very short moment, because there was a Kickstarter, and I have to show this to you. This was so totally off the rails, so totally bonkers, so bad.
Oh, he's found that 80s style thing that appears to be on everything these days.
Yeah, the thing is, the lady who has created this has created another one 2 weeks ago. That one has been cancelled because people were so mean to her.
Oh dear.
But look at these sculpts. Look at them.
That's different.
Yeah.
Certainly.
That's
isn't it though?
Thundercats meets not going to the leg day.
Quite like how Panthro was called Pantera.
Yes. It's
Dimebag Tarl, thank God he's dead.
There are some other miniatures that go beyond.
Oh no, scroll away. Oh, there's Mumra. I'm trying to work out who Morningstar is, who just looks like COVID-19 given BDSM form. What?
I know I've seen this Teddy mech somewhere, but I can't put my finger on.
It's Teddy Ruxpin, some sort of evil Teddy Ruxpin. Are you sure that's not Teddy Meth? Teddy Ruxpin on meth.
And then we have some generic vehicles.
Oh, and now we've got into not G.I. Joe / Action Force.
Yeah.
It's different. I'll give it that.
Oh, hell yes. And it get worse.
Triton is particularly good. That's one step away from Kung Fury. Oh, there's the Visionaries. Holy fuck.
Oh, you
The
remember
arrows turn.
those?
The arrows turn, the swords rebel. May nothing pierce my mighty shell. Visionaries.
I should
that's
have
the
known that you
magical
remember
light.
those hologram miniatures. Yeah, range
Never
R.
mind that.
Range
I
R,
have
I'm
it.
guessing is Brave Star.
Yeah. We might not be actually. Because there was another set of 5 space cowboys in a Western cartoon, and they had different abilities, and one of them could essentially he was like the Borg before the Borg were thin. So if
Saber Rider and
if-
the Star Sheriffs.
could be if he was, if he shot himself with a low voltage laser blast, then it would make him temporarily immune to laser blast, or he could take a small amount of poison to become temporarily immune of a large amount of poison.
No, I can't. I don't think that was
He-
the same.
He was the best. The other ones were mostly wank, but he was great. I must check that out. But I own the Visionaries. I've got the complete Visionaries on DVD, so you can borrow that sometime if you want.
There's a sudden flash in my mind going, Captain Power and the Soldiers of the Future. Also, speaking of TV shows nobody ever watched, I actually know the Starfleet series Lloyd had picked up. I've seen
Right.
that as a child. It's
I'm
great.
sure I'd seen it as a child as well, because specifically the circular ball thing flying through the air was very.
I watched that on Sky Channel. That was one of my first English contacts. That and Transformers. Yeah, so this was so terrible. We have Castle Grey Lion Skull Thingamajig.
Galaxy Rangers. That's what they were. The Adventures of the Galaxy
Oh,
Rangers.
So
Just in case anybody wants to go and see it at home.
I'm
And in
guessing
fact, one of them plays a guitar, which means they've actually got 2 of them in there.
I'm guessing this Blackout dude is some sort of I can't remember the name of the cartoon, but I remember the villain with the open chest.
Oh, I don't know. It's a bit weird. It's not right.
Yeah, so this is one of the, I don't know if it's correct to call it the worst Kickstarters. It's definitely something.
It's a distinctive style.
I give her that.
It comes down to how much. There's Goram Gamer apparently rating. Discuss.
What?
Huh.
Oh no.
Comes down to what the price is.
$25 for 37 STL files.
You know.
So you can't complain about the price.
No, for 3D print people, they're all about how many things they get for cheap because they're whores, terrible whores.
But this is
Don't know
definitely
about raids,
the,
but aids are bad generally, Dutch.
this is the we all skipped leg day collection.
Most of them got wings; they don't need to.
Well, let's get back on track. So
Can we?
We're only half an hour in and have made 2 projects.
Well, we're on to 3 now. We're on to 3. We're speeding up.
So this is. Oh, he has given his email address as username, or something went terribly wrong over at OTG.
No. That is his username and has been since he started appearing. Christian,
Ah.
feel free to email him. Tell him hi.
No, I
Send him
don't
stuff.
use
Send him licorice.
I don't use other people's email to mail them. I use those emails to put into various newsletters of specific descriptions on weird
Certainly,
sites.
Anytime I try that, it keeps coming up saying this email's already in use. Oh, Justin, what are you doing?
You sometimes it's better not to know. Sometimes ignorance is a bliss.
It really is.
A raid of 5. This is also almost a crusade.
It's more than a crusade. Only need 3.
No, Arland, it's not Crying of the Turtles. That it was definitely a complete other series, but I can't remember.
Wonder if it was like Jason the Wheeled Warriors and Monster Mind or something like that.
Jason was in the same vein, but I think Monster Mind gets close. I'll find out sooner or later, but not yet. So Star Wars. Yes.
Yes.
Great. So he has done a grand army or just a small force. Well, filthy
too.
rebels, I say.
Worse than filthy rebels. It's the Republic. But, as you can see there are Chancellor's Guards in there before they became the Imperial Guard.
Dancing stormtroopers.
So, I don't know if those are 3D prints or if somebody out there has been selling these things.
I think somebody was selling those, but I might be wrong.
Because they look too big to have been, I mean, they could be Imperial Assault type things, but they look too big to be Wizards of the Coast ones.
If
but also
we
they're
look closely on the major and
Oh,
begin,
look at that.
we can
look at the
see the
stripings.
print lines. So these are 3D printed.
That's quite nice because presumably he's either using them as elite stormtroopers or using them as the Emperor's Guard. Just take their stat line and stick them in a Republic force. I don't see why not.
Not in tournaments for casual
well, no.
games, of course. But
Tournaments
I
are the worst.
think maybe he's counting that on that FFG sooner or later will release them. Mandalorians
Possibly.
have gotten their own box,
Yes, they do. Sometime
which I pre-ordered.
sometime in November, apparently.
That's what drives me a bit insane. The next two Legion things are announced for the 11th of September by FFG.
Yeah, I don't believe them.
I don't believe it either, but I had to pre-order, so what gives?
You just sit there and you go, whatever, FFG. And the best part about it is nothing has been delayed due to the coronavirus. It's just how shit their release schedule is. If there hadn't been a virus and a lockdown globally, they still wouldn't have been out any earlier.
Oh, I have to object? No, what the fuck? Interject, yes, thank you. Because there are actually products that should have been out that were for X-Wing two blisters, but who cares about that?
Nobody can. I think it's quite clear since second edition, nobody cares.
Sad but true, I literally today made the decision to not go any further with X-Wing version 2 because if I can't buy them at my local store, I can't be asked to order them.
That's probably the best way to go. I keep finding my box full of X-Wing stuff and then go, oh yeah, I have them. And then I put it back into the corner where it lives and then forget about them again.
So now he has also C3PO and R2, and I'm wondering if those
if
two
those are
3D printed or the ones from the crashed escape pod.
I think those are the crashed escape pod. Because there's a seam line around the bottom of C3PO's finger, which wouldn't be on a 3D print.
Yes, but and this I have to check. This is the C3PO I have, and that's exactly from that set. And he looks different.
Ooh, he does look different.
And those are not the models that also already had articulated arms. But I maybe am just looking at them wrong, or he has done some cheeky... Well, let's see. I think...
Is that not Imperial Assault? It could well be.
No,
Who knows?
it's hard to say. We would need to ask him, but I think the arms are able to articulate that way if they're not glued. So maybe I'm just seeing things.
I don't think they're 3D print. Apart from them being too clean to be a 3D print.
Especially
I can definitely see a mold line.
And if you look at the dome of the R2-D2, the upper half where the blue starts, there's a line, and that's a separate part you have to glue.
Yeah.
So I think those are from the crashed escape pod.
There's mold lines on both of the fingers. Clean your mold lines, Christian.
Terrible person.
Son of a bitch.
Not cleaning mold lines before painting. What are you?
God. Generally, I would say Lena is the answer to that. Doesn't clean any mold lines off. Freaks me the fuck out.
She does
Whenever I
not.
hear that, I have to go and sit down and buff a mold line off with wire wool for 2 to 3 hours just to calm my nerves.
And she doesn't do anything like that?
No. Fuck, I don't even think they have file.
Terrible person. Terrible person.
Shocking. I think Christian's been using some sort of airbrush type thing for that saber tank.
That or he's got some very worn brushes. And it's in total Jerry focus. Can you see that? I'm close as fuck and only the rear end is nearly in focus.
It's all in focus. That's just how good his camouflage is.
The camera can't focus because there's nothing to see. Clever.
Very. I think.
Well done him. And Ben, do you see that? Here?
Mm-hmm.
OSL around the windows. Shining bright.
Works for me. I like that. It's a nice grungy colour.
It's certainly something different than the usual, we just slap white and grey tones over it.
These are the people who have survived for more than 2 months and go, there's another 200,000 well on the way.
People tend
it's
to
not
forget
enough.
that if you look...
Don't want to die.
If you look past the movies, especially in the Clone Wars TV series, there are so many different surroundings, environment that they are fighting, and no commander in their right mind would send a bright white troop into some sort of dense forest.
Oh yeah, just asked to be shot in the face by a sniper.
If he's lucky. If he's unlucky, there are other bodily parts that are getting... Because remember, you don't kill a soldier, you wound him. If you kill him, he's dead. He will be buried. They move on. If you wound him, they need to
It's an
tend.
inconvenience to the rest of his squad. Yes.
And they need to tend him. They slow him down. It's much more efficient to wound them.
Mines everywhere. Just blow their legs and bollocks off. He has named all his squads, but unfortunately, he's named them all very dully. You know, Squad C4. Where's the use in that? They should be like 1138 C4
And
for
then
every squad member.
And then go kabooey.
Yeah.
Well, then let's get on to the next one, shall we?
Yes, let's.
Anno Domini 1666. So Umbra, I think we have visited him in a similar project before.
It was this project long time ago, but he's been back. Done more stuff. It all looks fucking gorgeous. I love him. I love him.
Let's
he was,
see how.
If we remember, he was doing them in batches. The first group he did were Polish because I believe he's Polish. And he went, if I'm going to do anything, I'm going to do proper people first.
Oh yes.
And then move on and start doing lesser nations, as I like to call them.
So the next he did, what we didn't see, are Crossbowman.
I see you didn't, but I did. This is why I need you there, because I've fucking every button's been spammed for me. These are give me a very Carnivale feel, which I think is kind of the same sort of.
The bases are a bit annoying, being warped and all.
I think that is just unfortunately part of how they were cast, because I think they were board game type thing for Anno Domini.
But can't you use hot water, please? Or send them down?
Well, I'll just hit it with a fucking hairdryer.
Something like that, yeah.
Hairdryer the living shit out of them.
Dogs of War.
Yeah, it's a board game. So.
Those look cute puppies.
I love the scale on them. It's one way of doing it. You know, possibly wouldn't go that far with dogs, because they're only dogs. But still. It reminds me in one of Raymond E. Feist's books, I think Silverthorn, they go really far north and they come across a massive bull mastiff with a big spike collar on it. And it's because they hunt wyverns using them, and the collar is to stop bigger animals latching onto their neck. That's the don't bother with any other armor. Give the fucker out. No, it's the size of a car.
He does really a nice job on these gaming pieces. I Really?
Yeah.
I have to give him that.
Oh, they're beautiful. I mean, I'd
And
quite
he's-
happily throw them down for any game.
And he's using very few washes, it seems.
It's certainly his style of painting seems to be more layering, so there could be a wash and then it gets layered up so it disguises the fact that it's been dulled down that much. Not just World War One dog machine gun teams, we need machine guns on the back of camels. It's the best way. Just
Machine
saying.
guns on the back of elephants.
You know, it's a bit of a
Rotating,
big target.
rotating turrets.
Hold it up.
Side sponsons on elephants.
There's pictures of cannon on top of some Indian elephants, I think. Although I think it's also an anachronistic photograph that somebody, went, this would be funny if we put a cannon up there. I don't think they were actually used that way.
No, I think elephants are much too sensible for that. They would just go haywire when one shot is done.
There's a
hunter.
huntmaster.
Ernst Koenig, whatever. Oh,
I really like the musketeers.
those look lovely.
Yeah. It's one of the things that attracted me when we first looked at this way back when he was just doing the initial ones. They had these very elaborate / realistic poses.
I must say they look very dynamic. And given the fact that those are board pieces, some companies making miniatures for miniature wargaming could slice themselves a bit of this.
Well, they do also make miniatures for wargaming when, as their day job, when they're not fulfilling Kickstarter with these. It's very similar. There's a clip doing the rounds again that I haven't seen in a little while, which is, I think, a Polish film called The Deluge, where it just has this incredibly realistic saber duel in the rain in the middle of some mud between some Slavic buildings in fuck nowhere. And every time I see people in those poses with the saber up and ready, it just reminds me of that. If people haven't seen Deluge, Google it. You'll find it on the YouTube. You'll find that saber fight. It is terrifyingly realistic because they're slipping in that mud. And you're just going, somebody's going to fucking come a cropper here.
Well, all in the business, all risks are applied for.
I have seen cannons on elephants, but I always thought it was anachronistic that they never actually fired them from the backs of them. So, but yeah, Umbra knocking out of the park with everything. I don't know how realistic Isaac Newton is with his cleaver.
These two, is it just me, or is that left guy somehow looking like Leon?
Yeah, that's Matilda.
Sometimes people have very weird inspirations for their
To be
miniatures.
brutally honest, if I'd seen that when that Kickstarter was running, I'd have fucking backed it. 'Cause that's amazeballs. Is that the Deluge clip you've thrown in there, Dutch?
Did he? Is it safe to open? I don't care.
Oh no, it's very much safe to open. It'll probably copyright strike you.
No, it will be muted because we only see the video.
Yeah, you won't be watching the whole thing because it is like 10 minutes long
So
of
that's
nattering.
7 minutes, so just jumping in right when the action starts. Though this is all talking, and oh, here we go. I think.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Any time from in there.
Well, that's more than you can see on any LARP thingy-majig.
Oh yeah. So you got the cocky young buck on the right up against the old man because he's obviously going to do him up like a kipper because look, he's older than him. Oh no, it's all going horribly wrong.
And suddenly someone loses an arm, a leg, and an ear.
I like to imagine that they filmed this scene first in the film, and they went through 4 leading men before they finally got it and were able to progress with the rest of the film itself.
Or they did 4 movies for different actors.
Oh dear. You should go
Oh no.
fetch your sword, fucker.
He has lost his butter knife.
Hola, the dates. Let's go and
Yes.
pick it up. It's a great wee fight. The whole scene's
Nice.
very good from them starting to kick off and kick down doors. Suggest everybody go and learn Polish, then that way you don't have to worry about subtitles. I hear it's probably an easy language to learn.
Oh, I can't say. I never tried. Well, those thugs look like they don't belong into the medieval ages, do they?
They certainly look different. Although that may just be the choice of colours on them for speed,
Yeah.
because they are board gamey pieces. So
You remember the game, what was it called? We Happy Few?
no,
It's set in an alternate history, 1960s Britain, where everybody needs to take happy pills to stay happy.
oh,
And
delightful, like Brain Candy by the
yeah, and you have to
Canadian fellas.
find out what's behind all this. And the bobbies wear white masks that look a bit like the Joker. It's a very nice adventure-y action game, a bit of like Bioshock, and those look like they just jumped out of that game.
No, never played a huge amount of video games after the sort of late 80s. There was a long hiatus.
very
from the late
early
80s.
Kickstarter, and had a very long and troublesome development before Microsoft stepped in and said, "Here's the case of money. Make your game."
It's one way of doing it.
And it's a rather nice game, partially a bit depressing. You play 3 different roles, and one of them is a mother that is trying to hide that she has had a daughter, because for some reason children are nowhere to be found in that world. It's very grey.
Oh, there you go. It's the best way. And on to the Spaniards.
I can't get myself to get away from these. I love the foliage he has done on the basing. It's so far and few, but it looks fitting.
Yeah, it's very minimalist. And you've got that very flat brown basing on them, so look, Foot on Rock, your favourite.
Is it? Rock?
Foot
could
could be
be
dead person.
Mangled corpse.
Yeah. Foot on something.
Can
But you don't need much, especially if it's a board game piece and it's going to end up back in a box, I imagine, on a regular basis.
And the only thing you need is something to differentiate these things and have them look nice from a distance.
Well, I think, and that's the main thing, is there's very distinctive colour palettes for each of the factions that he's been painting.
Yeah.
So, you know, the Frenchies are distinctly blue from a mile away and that sort of thing. So yes, Umbra.
Well,
Clever
then,
bastard.
shall we move on?
Yes, speaking of clever bastards.
Blinky.
This-
To say this before we get into this project, I am really sorry, Blinky, that I put this flea into your ear. It was mere a thought that crossed my mind. I had no idea that he would run with it. It was like winding someone up and then seeing her go off the
See it
cliff.
go. Well, you know, that's the best way. The best sword fight is indeed the Princess Bride.
So for everybody who doesn't know what this is about, I was hypothetically talking to Blinky if it were possible to make an Battlestar Galactica Silence eye rotate in a 28mm miniature to go with this whoosh whoosh motion, because he had just done one with a solid light in the visor.
Yeah. Which you'll see in the very first entry, actually.
This one,
Yeah. So, now, to be fair to you, he has cheated by not using a 28mm miniature and going for the fucking 32mm poser scale. So, you know, you can take some solace in that he's, whatever he does now, it's still a failure because it's not a 28mm figure. And if he does it and it works, you just go, but blinky, mate. It's not 28 mil. Yeah.
But just look at this picture that he provided with the
Oh, yeah.
smallest LED that he didn't use. He used one size bigger.
It's my favourite, where he's going,
LED speck of dust.
And I imagine because he picked them up by taking his finger and pushing it down onto, and then lifting it up and going, oh, I've got
Fuck.
the LED and some crap. Well, I'm not fucking trying to remove that. So just take the
Yes.
picture.
What baffled me most was his memory of silence being black.
Oh,
He actually said it in the weekend of third. I remember them black. Weren't they black? No, they were always shiny chrome.
super shiny. In his defense, they, like stormtroopers, they wore black
Yes.
unitards underneath so they had movement.
And-
so he may be, because I think the A-Team one that he would have seen at the start of every A-Team episode, you see it side on, and I think there's more black than silver.
Yeah, but it's
Kind of.
still very shiny
yeah,
and chrome.
Oh, they were so
And the
chrome.
silent commander is golden.
Yes. That's how you know they were important.
Yes. So he
Silence.
just look at the size of. I can't even. How do you solder such things? Without
Shiny and chrome, no wonder they're happy to fly it into the flight decks going to Valhalla. No, it's that. Everything's shiny and chrome. Yeah, look at the size of them. No wonder he's scaled up to 32. Cheater. That's a big head. If he put them in a box that size, that would have been fucking amazing. Just have a 28mm figure and then a box this big with 3 lights blinking back and forth like Kit.
a bobblehead.
A bubble-headed silo going, I did it.
Technically a 28 mil miniature because the feet are only 6 mil from the ground.
Oh.
Well, yeah.
So, yeah.
So he's going very, as we know him, he goes into every detail. Oh, and
Oh,
here's
he goes to extremes.
here's the
So-
nice part: the first test run.
First test, yeah. Wum, wum. Wum, wum.
I could look at this for hours. And here we have the head.
How shiny do you want? The new metal colours by Vallejo, Pete, are beautiful. The aluminium based pigments in it are so fine. It's gorgeous. Alclads will give you the chromiest of chromes though. Although I'm not sure if they still make Alclads, actually, now I think about it. Because it has been a while since I've seen them.
Just look at it. Doesn't this look perfect for a Battlestar Galactica game?
No, they do still make Alclads. Go with them. Yeah, that looks fantastic.
Now we need some fly insect people.
Yes, guys, the Vallejo metals are just stunning. Absolutely stunning. I've got a set of scale 75 metals to try from their alchemy range to test them out.
This
Can you embiggen that so we can all see it at home without having to squint at your tiny screen? Because none of us are clicking on it in the thing, because you could be arsed. Do the work first. Dance first, monkey boy. Ooh, look at them. Squad of 3, huh? Is there sound on it, Dan?
I
You're going to
don't-
make me have to do it.
I don't think there's any.
I'm going to imagine it's just...
Oh, yes, there is. He did some sound sampling.
Our patrol has passed the outer planets and found nothing.
Oh, that's amazing.
Our weapons
I might have
stand
to
by to attack.
put a hand down my pants and touch myself.
Do you need a minute?
Oh, I might do. That's all right. I'll hold it for now. Be good.
It really makes me happy to see some lunatic idea I had getting to life in about 2 weeks' time. It's insane.
Yeah, you know. You realise that's because we haven't been pestering him and actually started to do the playtesting on his game. If we were doing that, he wouldn't have time for this shit. So in many respects, it's our fault / my fault. Start doing that for next week.
Yeah. Can't we do that on stream and pretend it's something for UK Game Expo? Brand new, never before seen game. Exclusively UK Games Expo OTT stream.
That's how the game is played.
Next up, Dinsdale. Crazy Redcoat, what is he up to? Where did we leave him last time?
I can never remember where he left him. I think we've got two. I think we've got the Lion, the Young Wolf, and then Tyrion. I think after that we had the ones we've already seen.
So, the Lannister was the last thing we did not see. So the first we start today. We have a red Lannister dude.
By 12 score artist.
Bye. 6th period online. Well, good luck. Stay strong. So, Crazy has done a little Lannister.
Tiny, rest your pint on his head, styly.
Oh look, this is just for you.
Yep.
Perfect.
He's showing you what paints he used in that picture.
And that he didn't make his bed again. Didn't we tell him last time that he has to...
I'm going to go out on a limb and say he's doing it deliberately now. Or it's perfectly made, and just before he takes a shot, he walks over, and
goes a little rough.
chucks it in the middle of the bed, and then walks back to take the photos.
Could well be. I wouldn't blame him.
144 artiste.
That all being said, a very nice paint job. Though clearly the base lacks some goblin green on the rim, but
Wouldn't want goblin green; it would clash with his puffy silk sleeves. It's probably the only reason he didn't do it.
You think so?
I have no idea. Probably not.
Could be.
I imagine it's made to match the rest of the Lannisters. So.
And is that wine or blood? Could be both.
I hope not. Not if he's drinking it. Crazy says he's just lazy, so he doesn't disassemble the bed. Can't be that lazy. You're painting miniatures. I'm lazy.
Why is he doing so many double posts? Oh wait, that's the project system.
I'm going to give him skill, idea, and tutoring for the double post there.
So we have a running whatever wolf dog thingy magic and
Diarrhea wolf.
There's the young wolf, king of the north. But why is he leaning on his sword? You don't lean on your weapon. That's not good for it. It dulls the blade, it bends it.
I'll go out and let him say I don't think he cares.
People are
Besides,
terrible.
it's made from, isn't it made from magical metal? Doesn't dull or some shit.
Well, that would be a rather boring prospect, would it?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe. Maybe not. Time will tell.
Why is that?
It's quite a nice ginger colour.
For some reason today, when I get back from picture mode to project mode, it doesn't jump back to the entry I was in. Is the site down again? Because it's also not loading the top banner. Not at all. Completely gone.
No, again, not for me. Just you.
Well, I blame the internet.
Can we go back to the gingeration?
Yes, we can. Where were we? Here. The light shot.
It's quite nice. It has that auburn, but not. I found an orange in my paint box. I'm going to use it. Leitmotif. Yeah. The leather on the upper leg, the thigh, is quite nice as well. I'm not entirely certain what it's supposed to be. Is it supposed to be quilted? I suppose that's one for the sculptor more than anything else. Dear sculptor, what the fuck were you doing with those pants?
I was looking at my wife's upper leg.
Jeez, some serious case of cellulite. Had she been sitting on like a hammock and then she got up, I looked like a pork roast in a net.
Well, since I've got my cutting mat on my table, I've got these little indents on my forearms when I lift them. It's a bit annoying. But
That is the way to go.
a sacrifice I'm willing to make if it keeps me from putting up a mat every time I spontaneously want to cut something in pieces. Or drop some paint on it.
I can't remove my cutting mat from my desk. It's too big. There's too many things on top of it.
Well, that's the way to go.
Just stays there permanently.
Speaking of paint, still soaking.
Dime bar. Have you considered taking it out and hitting it with a blowtorch?
Yes,
I'm just curious now.
sometimes I have. But that being said, I have with the last edition of Orcs, I have a surplus of Orcs, so I'm probably just taking the best 6 ones I need, and the rest
Running with those.
will stay somewhere else.
Yeah.
See what will become of that.
Well, you can always use it as an experiment if you're ever looking to replace your stripping fluid with something else.
That's the plan. Next up is by Scripps, dipping a toe into black seas. If I recall correctly, I have seen his entry on the Weekender thread where he did the rigging on this little bastard.
He kind of did the rigging. He went a step further than I could be arsed with the rigging.
He did rig it. He used thread.
No, he didn't go that far.
Well, maybe I'm confusing this project with somebody else's entry in the Weekender thread.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure there were threads used on...
No. Warlord did a set of rat lines on acetate where you would cut them out and stick them to the side.
Yeah, he used them
And he used those.
added some more.
Which is, like I say, well, to be fair, I never got the acetates. They didn't fucking send them with the
Here,
demo
there
copy.
it is. Those
Oh, is
are
it done rigging
attached
at the bottom?
strings.
Oh, man. Oh, who could be arsed with that?
He
Certainly
obviously.
not me. Not only no, but fuck no.
Yeah, I can see the use of these little tiny acetates, but man, going on with all that No, no. I got to preserve what's left of my sanity.
Yeah. No, you wouldn't want to.
And
It adds nothing.
and
it
he-
makes them harder to store.
And he even
Harder
added
to
a
move.
second color of thread to make it even more appalling.
Maybe that was just so he didn't get confused as to what direction he was going. They were all black. Should this one be going forward or back? Oh, fuck.
Well, it's definitely a possibility.
It's nice. It's nice said, though. It's come together lovely.
Yeah, and this was the final picture he showed in the thread, so that's what I remembered.
No, I haven't seen that.
The sails, the way that are showing now on the model there, those are as is supplied.
Yes.
I think.
Correct. They come in a choice of 2 flavors, yellow or brown.
So piss or shit.
Piss and or shit. Discuss.
Well,
120-page PDF of how to rig fucking ships. Are they? Remind me to send Langton Minis a turd in a box. Fucking 120-page fucking PDF.
are you looking up how to rig your ship?
No, would I fuck? There's a rigging guide in the thing anyway if you want to follow along. But, you know, it's still... I think every ship is... They said if you start doing it,
Wait,
get the
how many
technique.
pages?
120. If you get the technique down, you can do a ship in about 45 minutes. And you're going, well, it took me 45 minutes to paint the fleet. I'm not going to spend the same amount of time for the whole fleet on every ship to fucking put thread on it. Do I look like a cunt? Fuck right off.
Oh, shut up, you cunt!
That's the one.
Well, speaking of, why isn't he here, Robert? You.
I don't know.
Don't know.
Terrible bastard.
Well, I think he's
He must do something on a Tuesday night because he's never here.
No, he's not. Maybe,
Masturbation,
maybe
perhaps.
he's painting
Tues-
miniatures.
Tuesday's his special masturbation night.
Oh, and speaking of that little man, here he is. Robert's Chaos Warband. This is a long-going project from him,
Yeah, he started in the 40k weekend.
which was mid last year.
That's when we were still allowed out before the event. Stay inside.
Stay
And
inside.
he's just
A rock.
continued expanding it in various directions, whether it's with more GW stuff, conversions of his own, or weird and wacky shit that he's found.
I
lurking.
remember peeking at that project the first time when he started using the green stuff roller to make those jelly bean worms attachment for his tanks.
That's the way to do it. That's an unusual collection of little fellas.
It definitely is. I am going out on a limb and say that's not GW.
No, CP models. They ran a Kickstarter. There's a Pink Horror coming up, which is a GW model. But the old school looking fellas are not.
This one you are talking about.
Yeah.
With the beak and tongue.
Tongue. I may or may not have 2 or 3 boxes of them somewhere. Fucking, I should sell them on. They're shit models. GW used to do really nice Pink Horrors, and then for some reason they went, let's make shit ones.
The original ones had much larger hands, if I recall.
Oh, there's been many variations. Many variations.
Those are the ones I seem to memorize having enormous hands.
Hands, like jazz hands.
Yes, just going,
Yeah,
I'm
still
going
pink
to
and blue.
slap the shit out of you.
There was a set in between, which I think were Juan Diaz sculpts, where they were literally crawling out of their skin. And then they did another set in plastic, which were fucking god-awful. And then they finished them off with these ones, which are turd. For some reason, and I don't know why, maybe Juan set fire to all the molds before he left.
He hid them.
I can't understand. But he did a set of horrors that were sublime, and he did a set of Slaneshi demonettes with like elongated crab claws, which were fucking stunning.
Oh, I remember those.
And then,
yeah.
and then for some reason, GW went, "Fuck those! They're too nice. They're too nice for our audience. We're going to make new ones, and we're going to make them balls." I think that was actually what they said. That's an official quote.
I wouldn't put it past them to say that's too nice. That's a display piece. We can't use that as a.
Either that, or somebody in GW just went, you know what? I can make a fortune off eBay. Sculpt something new, and then just took all the existing ones home and just puts like 2 or 3 out on Fleabay at £20 a model every couple of months. It's very weird. It's like the old day John Stallard before he went off to become Warlord Games. John Stallard used to be head of the studio, and he would go past and would see something that was really nice. I'll go, I'm having that for my collection, sculpt another one. So sometimes people would see, like, there was a Cypher model previewed at a Games Day fucking donkeys ago, and it was never released because when they finished it, Stallard just swiped it for his collection, and then they had to sculpt another one that wasn't quite up to par as the previous one.
How is that possible?
Because it was very much a different time. Like, I'm in charge of the studio. This is what I want this week. Oh, that's nice. I'm having that.
I'm loving the little dudes Robert has done here.
That again, that's a mix of I think more CP stuff and occasionally a possibly GW one. The armored might with the big double-handed sword.
This one?
Yeah, that one. If it's not the GW original, it's very closely modelled on it. I would have to go and dig mine out from next door. Actually, now I see the arse end of that. I don't think that's the GW one, because he should have his arms a little more away from the body. But yeah, tiny miniatures, always good. And cultists being cultists.
Snail with a helmet. Yeah, now I've seen everything. Oh, Robert, your account.
20s Demonettes had many nipples,
But you can
but
paint.
so did the box set they replaced them with, just less nipples. So, not sure what the crack is with that.
You can't promote things on Facebook with nipples on it. That's the problem.
Grumble, grumble. Grumble, grumble. There's a friendly looking fellow.
Yes, and what nice color he has.
Very pastely. Very Slanesh. Or Zinch, depending on your point of view.
And what I actually love is that this is a rather new model, but it still fits totally with that old guy. It's the same axe, a close fit on the helmet. Even the armor is pretty much the same, just a little bit more detail.
Well, he was based on, or I can't remember if he was based on the Hero Quest ones, or the Hero Quest ones were based on him. Can't remember.
Well,
Getting too old.
I think the Hero Quests were a bit earlier than the one I just showed, because that was from the painting set.
Pinky there. The pinky fella. They maintained a consistency for a while before going off book.
I think I'd like to see some sort of timeline showing what sculptor has worked for GW, and then compare it with the appeal that the miniatures have to the audience, to see if there's any correlation.
It's like a specific golden age of sculptors.
Something like that, or if you can see that there's a time in GW's history where there's a more sudden change, or an enhanced frequency of new modelers getting in and out of the business, so that they are not as consistent as in the early days.
You run into an issue where they stopped telling people who the sculptors are in GW in around mid-2000s. So around 2003, 2004, you stopped seeing sculptors' names on stuff. So now, they could have 50 sculptors a year, and the turnover could be immense, but you never tell because everything's become so standardized. But then in the old days, there were so few sculptors, so you got people like Kev, the Goblin Master, and he sculpted pretty much, if anybody bought a goblin from any UK and some American companies, so Heartbreaker, GW, which at that stage would have been Marauder and Citadel Miniatures, fucking anybody and their dog, Foundry, all sorts of stuff. Everybody more or less used Kev, which is why those goblins were so distinctive, and you could mix and match them because he was just everywhere. So
and let's face it, those are one of the best goblins out there.
Well, but it means you had this weird thing where at the very start they didn't have dedicated sculptors who only sculpted for them, the likes of Kev and Bob, and I suppose the Perrys came out of university straight in there, so they did really only sculpt for GW, and then Foundry when Brian started Foundry, but they weren't locked into GW like the sculptors in the 90s were, where they just sculpted for them. Harlequin, that was another one. Yeah, so it's weird. You have this weird sort of people working for everybody they want, and then people locked in, and then now you don't even know who the people are. Whereas you used to go, that's Gary Morley, I can tell, because he's got fucking huge feet. Every Morley miniature had huge feet.
I'm just thinking maybe it's the better part of us remembering it that way, but I like to think of the mid to late 90s as my personal golden age of miniatures, not only because that was my starting point, but because you had so many good looking minis out there.
Yeah. No, I would, for GW, I would certainly say about the same. And somebody the other day posted a pike block consisting of probably 200 to 300 miniatures.
What?
Backed up with halberds and handguns, arquebuses. And they were all Perry's Empire miniatures from 2 different sets converted into pikes, and they still stand up 20 years down the line, with modern stuff. So yeah,
I'm really hoping that next year Taktika in Hamburg is again, and then look the Perrys over their shoulders or in their faces while working. It's always fascinating.
Hold a butter cup under Michael's chin, see if he likes butter. That's how that works.
I don't think I will. Somehow I think that would go wrong.
I still remember the I've just blown my arm off issue of White Dwarf, where they put up it was an Empire trooper of some description. It may not have been an Empire. It may have been an Italian Wars trooper he was sculpting for Foundry. But regardless, they put it up and went, this is the first model he sculpted using his left hand since being injured. It's a bit rough. Are you looking at the green and you're going, fuck off. Just away and fuck yourself. There's nothing rough about that.
Yeah,
that's better than a lot of the stuff that's been released this year, you pricks.
To be honest, I was or am a bit, well, let's face it, ignorant on the more professional side, because I'm the customer, so I'm not really that far behind the enemy lines. And before I met the Perrys, well, that's 4 years ago on Taktika the first time, I didn't know he had only one arm.
You did know that there was 2, though? That there wasn't just one moving back and forward really quickly to fool the eye?
Yeah, that's why that's saying the brothers, so that's a plural.
Sorry, just checking.
I may be mental at the point, but yeah. Let's move on. I have pushed all the buttons for Robert, the little cunt.
Button pushing son of a bitch.
Oh dear, I seem to have spotted a cunt. What
Speaking
day?
of sons of bitches,
Frostgrave.
Stanley.
2nd edition.
Yes.
Oh no.
Which
Oh
came
no.
out today. I
Oh.
got a copy of it today on PDF to try and fucking read the review. That's not going to happen.
Well,
Need pages I can turn.
I have to, Jerry.
Do what?
Just let it go. Let it go.
You do you, son. You do you.
You know, this is what the parent equivalent of a war trauma is.
Bring me to watch the same cartoon
having
like a million
a
times in a row.
daughter going through, yes, I want that movie watched again and again.
Yes. Well,
And I have to to admit, it was a sight to be seen when my daughter had her, I think it was her 6th or 7th birthday, and they were out in the garden going mental like kids used to do, and it was about time to go home. So there were the first parents there to pick up, and I thought to myself, I'm now going to make all my neighbors suffer. And I cranked the volume on the amp to still acceptable levels of high before going deaf, and playing Let It Go. You should have seen those faces. They went mental in our living room. The parents were terrified.
It's like a young girl's party equivalent of a Rammstein concert. They're playing Du Hast.
Yes, and you got to imagine, they have been doing nothing but playing and eating sugar the whole day.
That's the best way.
So
Crab them full of extra sugar before you send them home.
this was, well, I had my grin at the end of the day. Seeing all parents taking their children, trying to keep them contained, while the children going these.
Just make them all suffer.
Yeah. So I'm guessing he's not going to do some Anna and Elsa for Frostgrave.
I mean, why not? You need a sorcerer and an apprentice.
Yes, sure. Why not?
I have these miniatures as well. And to be fair, I got the one on the right to use as Gianna Proudmore for a
World of Warcraft.
World of Warcraft diorama that I've not got around to doing. Although I have got the Lich King pretty much done. I've done her. And then I got the one on the left for free because they were delayed in getting stuff out and people were bitching at hassle free. It's like, I didn't bitch you. You don't need to send me anything for free.
But wasn't she an elf?
Gianna? No, she's human from Theramore. So
it's been a long time since I played that game.
I need to go and there's a serious amount of sculpting needs to be done to match her to her Warcraft equivalent. The Lich King looks well, and then I got a set of Chrysel ice to make the top of Ice Crunch Citadel out of.
Is that the one that is made with glass?
No, it's some form of acrylic. They don't make it anymore, annoyingly, which is a shame. I'm glad I bought some at the time.
So you're working off on your reserves now?
Oh, I never got around to using it because I specifically bought it just for that. It's like, oh, I'd give this a go. This is weird shit. Let's have a look at this. Precision ice and snow flock and wash and ice was really, really, really nice, but they've reduced the amount of things they sell considerably to just kind of the little snow thing, but it's great. It's very good. I
don't know if Panzer Kaput is pulling our leg. Does he really not know, or is he really not aware what Frozen is?
He might be lucky enough to have avoided it. I've never seen the film, but when Frozen was going mental, I do remember having to suffer listening to it at Christmas because it played in the store on a Christmas song loop, which was mostly all shite.
I'm going on record here saying the movie isn't that bad. It would be better if it weren't for all that singing. But that's Disney for you.
Yeah, well, you can't have everything.
I like some of the characters.
That Gianna Proudmore's alright. The problem I have with that is that's the baggy pants Theramore looking one. She looked different when Arthas was... You'd need to find the one from...
Panzer, it's a musical for kids about magic and freezing
Bronze
people.
Dragonflight. There's a dungeon where the Bronze Dragonflight fuck you back in time, and you end up accompanying Arthas into Stratholme, and she wears a different outfit then. That's the Gianna. I'd have to... Caverns of Time, thank you. I knew there was a fucker. Could I remember the name? Could I fuck? Anyway.
Well, move on then.
Yes.
More of sweet, sweet marvels has Yosh to go, showing off some brilliant painted miniatures right there in the project picture. So there's literally no need for the project, basically.
Oh, you terrible bastard. Scroll down, show stuff off.
Oh, look. A cup holder. Or is it?
No, that's Thanos' throne. It's a very small shot glass holder, maybe. His base isn't that big.
Oh, okay. Well, shot glass is okay too.
Yeah, well, does the job. Does the job.
Speaking of shot glasses, Revell, I've mentioned this once before, started to venture into supplying hobby supplies. And you have been on record more than once saying, yeah, when you attach the hobby tags, it gets ridiculous. They are selling shot glasses. I haven't dared to look at what price.
To mix your paint before you pour it into the airbrush?
Yes. Revell does those now.
Oh my Christ.
I looked
That's
at it
the one.
And I've had a bit of a grin, and then I thought to myself, wait, this could potentially end up bad. Let me see if I can find that on the quick products.
Oh.
Where is it?
I'm having a look myself. No, it's throwing up something else.
Supply.
I imagine it's called something like paint mixing cup.
The trouble is that was in a newsletter, and mixing cups.
They fucking are paint mixing cups.
Mixing cups, 15 pieces, €3.29. I seem to recall getting 50 of those
50 plastic shot glasses for
a
fucking
pound or
€1.
something.
Yeah.
It's,
Jesus wept. Hobby tax for the win.
yes, it's convenience tax. If you can't be asked to look anywhere else, you have to pay what people ask.
That is true. People should be made suffer.
Well,
And yes, that
Venture
Gianna
on.
is the Gianna.
venture on into this.
Yes, scroll more scrolling with scrolling.
And he uses a headlight torch thing, and he has modified it with green stuff.
For the bridge of his nose.
I
Nice.
can't say I blame him.
Does it hurt? Does it press down a lot?
Well, if those lenses are quite thick, I think the strain can be annoying. Oh, look at that beautiful table.
Yeah, I like the table. It's
In
done
a-
a very nice job on it.
And I especially like the fact that he has made it not parallel to the edges, but on a slight angle.
Those mixing cups offend me less because if you're using lacquer-based or even water-based airbrushes, you can save them, assuming you've got that type of airbrush that's siphon-fed, that you can screw those in their place. These are literally just graduated shot glasses, though, from Revell for mixing your paint. So,
What is that he does? Oh, yes, those. Reusable. Keeping mixed paints in place.
yeah.
Also, those are dirty cheap when you go to some
I've,
cosmetic stores or something.
Host of them myself.
Oh, those
sure.
are the old Revell airbrush cans. I have those too still.
There's a few companies that made sort of. I mostly use it if I'm varnishing or doing priming. I want to do a lot of terrain.
Yeah. That's why I still need that adapter for my airbrush hose with a quick connect to use the old Revell airbrush, because that has a smaller. What's it called?
I've gone very orange all of a sudden.
Is the sun setting?
Yeah, apparently. Let's ignore it.
I wouldn't have noticed if you hadn't told.
Really.
Well, you're literally the size of a stamp on my
that's
side.
right then.
And
That's
most
the
of the
best way.
time your face is hidden behind that orange button to end call.
I keep trying to pick my nose with your cursor. Just there. It's just moved again.
Oh, wait, you're
see.
here, so yeah.
Anyway,
Fun!
he's
And
been
that-
doubling down on
Just
the scenery
emphasizing, this stream is alcohol free.
packs.
That doesn't keep us from doing stupid stuff, does it?
No, very true.
I like these little streaks he's done on the
On the
windshields.
windshields.
It's a subtle effect, but it does its job.
Yeah. Much faster than the glassy attempt I tried on the ones I did for the studio, which I certainly won't be trying again. It's too much of a pain in the backside. I do like the pink car.
I like the paint job he's done. I think the models themselves look terrible.
They're not the worst. They are hollow hatchbacks. So you essentially just have a hatchback. So when you're not looking at it from above, because they look very round there, they're not that round. They do look like they could actually be a car you would see on the street when you're not seeing them from sort of above and tilted.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
let's be honest. You usually look on the gaming table from above, not from the sides.
Depends what you're playing. If I can, I sit. So I'm mostly kind of glancing at it from about the same height I'm sitting now,
It's-
to be brutally honest. I'm not quite level, but not directly above.
I think my main problem with these is I can't put them into perspective because I don't know how much they cost. What amount of...
Oh, too much. Oh, don't worry, they are too much.
Oh.
Because it is Marvel branded.
Okay.
Oh, they're not cheap. Oh, no, you'd be, you know...
Do they come with a box or are those sold extra?
No, so you see if you go to the picture where he's got, like, all of the shit laid out?
The scenery build picture.
Yep. So in the box you get 2 big dumpster garbage cans, 2 little ones, 2 streetlights, 2 cars, and I want to say 1 large building.
So
and then he's...
This is literally 3 boxes plus...
Plus, yeah, because you can buy scenery packs which are 2 buildings and then 2 each, so it's 2 of each of them. Actually, you may get 2 buildings. You may actually have another one tucked away somewhere. I can't honestly remember. It's been a while. I do definitely remember painting the Daily Bugle, though. But only once. And then he's bought the Oscorp garbage truck set, which you can make into a tanker or a garbage truck. I see he's very cleverly made both. So I'm presumably magnetizing it. Or maybe he just has it so that you can just set the tank out so you can kick it around. But you'd be much better off not buying that and, you know, finding some cars. Finding cars in that scale is the trick, though, because these fuckers are huge. If I find a fucker, what fucker will we have? We'll have this fucker. And then we find a Roman.
A Roman that drives cars.
And I go... One of these models is 25 mil.
Yeah.
And one of these models is whatever the fuck scale Marvel Crisis Fuck-a-Call is in.
132 heroic scale extra large.
I think they may actually just have gone 40 mil. Fuck yous, they are 40 mil. I don't even think they make the pretense of going heroic 32s or anything. But they're fucking enormous compared to everything.
And I spy with my little eye a bag of dice.
Bag of dice. Yes, special Marvel Crisis Protocol spinny dice.
And let me guess, not enough to go around.
No. You can pick them up and re-roll them, I suppose. But yes, never enough to go around is the answer. Anytime they go swirly dice.
That's the only saving grace FFG had for the X-Wing relaunch of the version 1 core set. Because nobody wanted the ships, but you got 3 ships and dice. And suddenly you had enough dice.
Same as Star Wars Legion.
The set on Star Wars Legion dice were much more expensive here than for X-Wing.
I worked... Sorry, go ahead.
My friend who's closing his shop now hadn't looked up the price and just ordered a pack for himself. And when he opened the bill... He did a little... because they... I shit you not. They're about 13 euros.
Oh, I remember looking... Because you could buy the Legion set from game spankme.com or something, and I have no idea. I found somebody in England was selling the Legion core set at like £68. And then I looked, if you were to buy the dice and the measuring stick separately, and then
nearly the same.
Another squad. No, it was more expensive to buy the 2 or 3 pieces individually, the barricades or whatever. That you were saving practically half the cost of the box. You're just going at that point, fuck it, I'll buy 2 core sets.
The core set wasn't cheap on 90 euros, but it definitely was a bargain compared to buying everything separate. That's why here nearly everybody bought 2 sets from start.
That's the way to do it. Yeah, Mantic's Walking Dead stuff's quite good. Wasn't Darkstar Board Game Extra? Could that be it? Is that a thing? I think if that's a thing, then I think I got mine from Thing. But yeah, it was 68 as well. So. But they were the only fuckers doing it 68 at that stage. Everybody else was doing it more expensive.
Well, let's say I really like what he has done to these minis and the project.
What have I done there?
What have you done?
I don't know. I'm not telling you either.
Ah.
Deleted the world, deleted the world.
So this is where we left off, where he started painting Badge.
Yes.
He's got a lot of paints. A very lot, way
Stack
too
of
many
houses
paints.
is quite good.
Pardon?
Nah, that's not way too many paints. That's a respectable amount of paints, I would say. It's the Tower of Babel that I'm looking at the moment. when Stanley gazed down at the frontry of the Tower of Daily Bugle kiosks, he forced all of the Avengers and Spider-Man and the X-Men to end up with different movie rights so that their powers could never be combined. Dun, dun, dun. That's from the Marvel Bible.
That's a plot twist.
Didn't see it coming.
How did you like my nudes? I didn't ask for nudes, I wanted pictures of Spider-Man.
Oh, did you see that thing? Which doesn't affect me because computer games. But did you see the there's like some sort of computer game superhero?
Oh,
Avengers
let me
thing coming
guess,
out?
you mean the Marvel Avengers game where Sony is keeping Spider-Man hostage for the PlayStation 5?
And the I think like the head of the Sony fucking company or their spokesman, when questioned about it, about PC and Xbox players not being able to get it, when they can't get it, buy a PlayStation. You're going, ooh,
Yeah,
oh, where's Red Shirt Guy when you need him?
they're not of the cautious kind. I remember when PlayStation 4 and Xbox were announced, and Xbox Microsoft took a lot of flack because you couldn't lend your games to anybody, and then they did a little skit on how to lend games to your friend on PlayStation 4, and then these two executive officers stood there, one handing the game disc to another, saying, "Here you are, thank you. This is how you lend games on PlayStation."
Oh,
Apply Arctic Cold to burnt area.
They should have. They could have quite happily responded with, and here's how you find out what everybody's being paid in Sony's films.
Yeah, I think the trouble or the problem is Sony has some kind of rights to the Spider-Man universe.
Oh yeah. Oh, they have to have.
And
a
that
new
dates
Spider-Man.
back some time, and this is just now it's now showing that selling out individual IP rights will end up crawling up your rear end again at some point.
In their defense, when Marvel did that, they were about 5 days from bankruptcy, so they had two choices: go away forever or sell the rights to Sony in a ridiculous fashion that they would never have done ordinarily. So, and
I'm going to say that this will be a launch exclusive. This won't be for long. This will be a thing for 2 or 3 months, and then there will be updates. And
they might. Who knows? See the way you're going $31 for that in the States. That's not the price over here. They're considerably more expensive over here.
$31 for what?
The dump truck from the last one.
Even 31 is a steep asking price.
Yeah. Think about €31 for a dump truck, and you're going, pricey. Increase that. I think they're closer to 40, maybe €50.
I'd say if you go to any larger toy shop, you may find something suitable, especially in the dump truck department.
It's the way to do it. Meow miniatures, meow meow bitches, meow meow.
Mao.
Yeah, if you say so. Meow meow.
There's no E in it, so it's Mao. Again, it's some dude on the interwebs selling miniatures. I like the design of the painting bottle. I really want one of those. The spooky head looking.
Yep. It's funny you say that.
Why?
because if you scroll down, you'll see it.
Oh no.
Oh yeah,
So Zebra Outrider does a thing with miniatures.
does do a thing.
Oh,
weirdly,
look.
he was in the Womp store, and I can't remember when he started this. I think it was a week or so ago. About 2 days before he put this post up, I got stuff from New Zealand, and they were going, "We finally got a UK supplier. It's the Womp store." I'm going, "What the fuck is the Womp store?" And then I went there. I'm going, "Oh, I should never have come to this website because there's so much." See, for painters, there's so much shit on that site, including these. So yeah, and then 2 days later, this project appears with weird shit. And the dice
Very
are,
weird dice.
yeah, the dice are weird and nice in and of themselves, but it's really the bottle is particularly good.
Do I dare to go any further?
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I wouldn't imagine you rolling those fuckers, mind you.
Why not?
Well, presumably that's ones. Just come up ones all the fucking time because they're so hollowed out.
Oh, I don't want to go any further.
But you should, because it's great for so many reasons.
Oh,
One,
God.
it's an eye wash bottle.
Oh, this is gorgeous. I can
Weird thing
totally...
is, I'm sure I'd seen these bottles like this before, fucking years ago. And it wasn't Meow Meow Meow.
I'm betting that...
It was Rackham or somebody I thought had done some of these as a spoof at one point, or not as a spoof, but as a little just something weird they would have on their website to sell at one stage.
There is somebody somewhere totally stoned in his room having an empty bottle and just slapping green stuff on it and having a giggle.
Well, I think this is what they used to do. It was just something the sculptors would do when they had bits of green stuff left after they were working on something, and they would just stick it to the side of an empty bottle or a bottle that was on its way out, and would just sculpt weird shit. And then at some stage they'd start to sell them. I don't know if it was Rackham, but I'm sure I've seen them a long time before whoever does these. Meow Meow Meow. But yeah, the Womp store. Don't click on that, by the way, folks.
This is awesome.
If you want any money, just telling you now.
Did you just... Oh,
No,
God.
no, you don't need to worry about that. We're not looking at this now because you'll never get out of this.
We're all
But-
in this together.
But
We're not getting out
I
alive.
quite like the fact he went off and found the Optrex label from a bottle of eye drops to stick on the back of his eye wash bottle.
Genius.
It's just fucking great. Oh, the project link. I thought I'd thrown that in already.
Well...
I had thrown it in. It's up there.
Oh, no, he's loading. More or less.
See? Oh, you have little faith. It's the last one I put in.
We're
Or
in
is
luck.
it?
He doesn't
Oh,
load
no.
any pictures.
It didn't cut and paste. Cut and pasted weirdly. Oh. Why did you copy the last one? There you go. Yeah. Don't look at it. Don't look at any of it. Don't look at the dancing girl. Fucking definitely don't look at the twisted range. None of that.
I'm looking at prices that cures most of my... Most, but not
Gerard Depardieu and his pig.
all. Nope.
Hey, you know, too late now. Already there.
Okay, I need this eye wash now to unsee this.
Yeah, well, you know, it's too late. It's not going to help you, is it? Bump, bump, bump.
You're a terrible man.
I'm not a terrible man.
And this
Other
is
people are terrible men.
this is not the weekend. We're not supposed to push any indies. Well,
That's not India, that's just a website who seems
Okay.
to have collected up a lot of weird shit that I hadn't seen before.
and now you're collecting it.
Mm.
The next one is something.
Ah, the Hooded Man.
Yes, I like Clannad as anybody else does. I have them all. Most of them I don't understand because I can't fucking speak the language.
Don't worry, very few people can. It's the same reason I listen to Sigur Rós sometimes, because it's not always Icelandic. He also sings in a magical made-up language he created himself. So I just view it all of being sort of how Steve Hughes referred to Clannad, silence coloured in. It's like that and Sigur Rós. You sit back and just let it play.
This is one of the TV shows I watched with my complete family on a Sunday or Saturday afternoon, about 5 p.m. And it was all fun and games as long as there was the long-haired Robin. And when he vanished, the series took a dive.
That was Connery. Yes, Jason Connery. So he died, and then they had to replace him. But it does also have the lovely Cockney fucker. What you call him? Cock it, you slag. Ray. I want to call him Ray Slag, but that's not his name. He just calls everybody that. Ray Winston.
Well, this was before the internet and Blu-rays and DVDs, so we only had the German tracks.
Third from the left. That's Ray Winston there. Look how young and thin he is, and
Little
hasn't
John.
told anybody to cock it. Or sorry, third from the right. Cock it, you slag. I think he was Will Scarlet in the series.
I
Possibly.
think he is.
Who knows? It's been too long since I've seen it. I don't know. It's a desperate band of bastards there. Ugly, ugly fucks. Anyway.
And then he's doing
He was Scarlet, was he? So.
miniatures.
So, yeah, there are some Robin of Sherwood miniatures that he's got, although he hasn't started work on them yet. But he's very, very cleverly thrown in the set of Musketeers.
I was about to say, those look more like the Four Musketeers than, than Robin.
They are. And again, you know, there's, was it Rochefort who had the eye patch? Yeah. Oh, you'll see them in a second when he scrolls down, because they're there.
Oh, there's Hearn.
Conquest games. Literally.
Yeah, they are quite the same as the TV series.
Good old Hearn the Hunted. Patron saint of small furry animals that get chased down and killed up. So it'll be interesting to see where the Robin Hood set goes. Decided he is going to base them on the TV series. But I quite like the Musketeers as well. I do keep looking up On Guard because I have a set of swashbucklers. Actually, it's the Princess Bride models. And I'm planning on possibly using On Guard for it, just so I can have fantastic sword fights with six-fingered men and Ineo Montoya.
I wonder, how far can a miniature company go in regards of recreating fictional characters from a TV show without getting hit of the head with a copyright strike?
Weirdly, they can, they can be super fucking close. I mean, the Spanish Inquisition here couldn't be any closer if they wanted. I've got some stunning stuff that is, practically based on the characters straight out of whatever TV series or book, and they've been fine with it. John Cleese has been rendered so many times in metal and resin, it's not even funny. But then I remember when Mantic were doing Dungeon Saga, they wanted to do a priestess based on that Ginger from Supernatural and Buffy.
Ginger.
She's a nerd who would do like a fictional World of Warcraft TV series. Felicia Day.
Oh yeah.
And they got hit by Felicia Day going, nah, you can't. So you've got huge actors going, yeah, no, fuck, tear away, don't care. I could, you've made me in Tiny Fighting Man form, couldn't give a fuck.
Dan
And
Lee,
then you've got other people who, are just going, nah, you can't do that.
Dan Lee has found Justin on the Worm store.
Has he?
He
He'll
has.
show us.
I will. Hold on
Nice.
to your heads.
Weirdly, I've done that joke already. When I was going through this with Lena a couple of days ago, going, oh no, this is all terrible. That's part of a set of of various angry miniatures that all have big bubbly heads.
Durkan Thunder Shield. Well, but I won't be paying £8 for that one.
No. I had a similar view. It's like, yeah, but no. Yeah, but no, but yeah, but no. So,
if I had
it depends how
any
litigious people are, I suppose. Because, you know, there are an awful lot of companies making some terrific figures out there. And they could get away with it in other times. Nah.
Maybe it's all in the sense of if it's not famous anymore, nobody gives a shit.
I'm pretty certain the Pythons would always be famous.
Yeah.
You know.
The only reason they started their YouTube channel was, and I quote, "Now we make the money other people did on YouTube with our stuff for ages."
It's true.
It's somewhere in their video channel
like the
description.
last tour they did, which was it's like the John Cleese wife's alimony tour.
Oh yeah, the alimony tour.
Just need to get some money up there again.
That was his solo tour just after his divorce. I saw that show. That was great. And when the Pythons did the what was the arena called in London, where they put the dead parrot in front.
Oh, at the O2 Arena.
Yeah, and that was streamed to cinemas worldwide. We were sitting here in our local large cinema and watching that stream live. And I had the most time of my life watching those old farts going through their routines. It was lovely.
Good times.
Best part of it, my personal highlight was when John Cleese put on the waitress's costume and got out screaming, "Albatross! Albatross!"
Does it come with wafers?
How does it taste?
Fucking seabird flavour. But yes, that's it.
This
Loving
is
it.
a dead bird. He's deceased.
Have you got Sheriff of Nottingham figures lined up to go against Robin and his merry men? Because I know he's kicking around the chat somewhere, or at least I think he was. Maybe he was, maybe he wasn't.
We can ask him later.
Yeah, we'll ask him later. Maybe I'm imagining it.
I think
thought I'd seen him.
Tonight I did see him, I think. Somewhere
Oh, no, he is there.
He is. Not yet.
See, I'm not
Castle
fucking mental yet.
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 Emphasizing the yet.
Mm.
It's a race. Who loses his mind in the stream first? Next.
I will say, obviously, it doesn't match Robin of Sherwood, but I want to say Studio Miniatures do a very good Alan Rickman Sheriff of Nottingham.
Oh,
Just throwing that one out there.
That's a very nice one. And cut his heart out with a spoon. Why a spoon, my lord? Because it's more painful.
It'll hurt more.
Yes, Malek Drak. It's not tat, it's big bones. I think he wanted to spell fat.
Mamluks.
So this picture now makes much more sense. From the project picture, I thought there was some weird thing growing from his head.
Haha.
But no,
Well, there is.
It's something he's holding in his hand, too.
Big nose and two tusks. They're not right. Yeah, he's showing off by painting stuff again.
What do you use these for? They don't fit any system I know.
Whatever you want. There are so many systems, Punny. So many systems. I've about 3 within reach right now that I could go into quite happily. Anything that requires, I mean, I'm pretty sure Mamluk is D&D anyway, but anything giant based, so Gods and Mortals, you could squeeze it in there as some sort of massive cyclopean bastard.
Look at the size difference.
Oh, I mean, yeah, that's great, because that's like an 80 mil round. So if that was on a proper square base, that would be a 75 mil square. So that fits Titan scale for Kings of War.
I was actually thinking it would be a bit smaller. Just a weird looking Dude, no, it's actually fucking huge.
Oh, it's huge because that's a mammoth it's up against there earlier, and it's not that's not a small mammoth model either. 'Cause I think that's a bones pygmy mammoth. Yeah. Is that an 80 mil? Did it say he's on an 80 mil? He made a 90 mil base.
90 mil
Ah,
bespoke
yeah.
3D
It would still
base.
fit a 75. Yeah, Mortal Gods Mythic, which is bound to be, I think it may be starting to ship at some stage soon, so I might see rules for it. Apparently the guys are working on they're going to do the Dark Age Clash of Spears next, and then they're going to do Fantasy, possibly.
Everything.
Did you go and find the Sheriff of Nottingham model? Was I right? Is it? It is. Oh, that's delightful. You definitely shouldn't look at that, Denzin.
Whatever painting skill he has,
Yes, it's not much. Shit. Is that what you want to say to him?
no,
I'll try and give it all up.
he lacks in creativity for naming things. Calling 3 giants Fifine, Foe, and Fum is the lowest.
Nothing wrong with that.
That's the lowest fruit you could get.
Nothing wrong with that.
It's just a hint higher than just numbering them.
I have that Merlin. Although I don't use him for Frostgrave. Don't use him for anything. He's still in his fucking bag from when I bought him. They also do the complete Medieval Mayhem range, which is all the Monty Python Holy Grail figures, which are, expensive.
And the Black
Worth it.
Knight.
Black Knight comes in 2 forms. Where is he? Oh no, he's fucking buried. I'm not getting him out. You can have him in Black Knight leaning on a sword, none shall pass, but all of his limbs are also separate. So you can have them scattered. The only problem I have is that the sword is molded onto one hand, so even when his limb is lifted off and away, it's still got the sword held by the pommel, which isn't wrong. So yeah, Dark Age Clash of Spears is there's playtest lists up already, Dutch, which are quite good. Still need a bit of tweaking and playtesting, but they're on the face page for people who want to give it a go. So it is coming as a book, and then after that they're going to do the fantasy, because they originally wrote Clash of Spears as their own version of Warhammer Fantasy when they didn't like the direction it was going with huge monsters and stuff, and wanted to go for a more skirmishy old sort of 3rd edition style where you were playing with like 40 or 50 men. You weren't playing with 700 men type of thing. So they initially wrote it as fantasy, and now they're going to go back and do a little fantasy booklet for it, which is nice.
Did anybody ever do some sort of family tree on game systems? When derived from where?
No, but there is a lot of cross-pollination with certain things, and you can see things moving from here to there. Most things would probably start with H.G. Wells, I suppose.
It should be interesting if you take
Kriegspiel.
let's say you take Warhammer Fantasy Battles 1st edition as a sort of starting point, and then you just branch out everything else that is there on the timeline and draw cross sections and mark where any author has done more than one game at a time. That's a piece of nightmare. Speaking of nightmare,
like
this is a lovely paint job on that Tyrannosaurus.
GW Gladiator rules. Was that in one of the White Dwarves? Because I know they did a card-based knight combat game in one of the old White Dwarves. Oh, just
yes.
the Gladiator rules from Historical. I think they're on the net. If not, I definitely have them up there anyway, so I can copy them down, I think. But somebody up there has them. So, yeah.
This is an interesting model.
Well,
Definitely a pain to put away sometime.
Yeah. Warhammer was written as a historic game first, and then segued into fantasy because they needed a system. And then when they went to Warhammer Historic, they went back. That's why it sort of worked quite well as a historic game, because it was always meant to be.
And then they went nuts.
But anyway, Boogaloo. I do like that.
That's a cool looking Scallybob dragon.
It's nicer than the. I think these are all bones. I think. Or if they're not all bones, then they're something similar. But they did a undead dragon for the first bones,
Yeah,
and
bones
it had
for Kickstarter, he says.
it had a solid middle because it was the only way they could work out how to cast the bones. It was their first attempt. It was experimental, so it looked very bony, except its torso, which was rib cage over a massive glob of meh. So it's nice to see that they've got around that. They've got a product that does the job a bit better. The first bones was kind of messy.
Well,
Some were good and some were terrible
but
as they experimented.
The bones were and are cheap entry points, so they can be forgiven if they look a bit wonky at times.
Even the ridiculous expensive ones are still dirt cheap when you look at what you're getting compared to the equivalent in plastic, metal, or resin. So
I was always very much tempted by the sheer amount of minis you get on the Kickstarter for the bang for the buck, as they say. It was just then again I was thinking to myself, wait a minute, you're getting how many miniatures for what system you're not playing, and where will you put these?
yeah.
So at some point, logic strikes.
Sorry, just doing this. Goosh. Was it those, or was it something different?
Oh, he's now illegally distributing files on the channel. You naughty man. Well, shall we eventually...
Don't worry, none of the YouTube people can see these comments. Be as abusive to people on YouTube as you want, folks. They can't read them.
Well, shall we go on with Glenn 92's American Civil War?
Yes, let's do that.
And he's doing an awful title for this project, giving everybody and his grandchildren music in the ears.
If it's any help, I do know him and therefore can hurt him in real life.
Country roads, take me home. West Virginia. I hate you, Glenn.
I like the massive tub. Just brimming full of stuff.
Oh, this one.
You know,
After
that
building
one.
and...
After building and priming and organising every units, I neatly packed it all away.
Emphasizing the neatly.
Oh yeah. Scrape it off into a thing.
This is a proper way to set up an army, and then he just tosses them into a box.
Yeah, you know, they're plastic. It's not like real toys. You can do whatever you want, the plastics. I think he's planning on using black powder for this, which would be interesting, because I've never really... I own black powder. I've managed to stop myself from buying second edition black powder, having never actually bothered to play first edition. I think you need to change the ground scale in black powder. It is designed for the Perrys to play on their 24-foot by 18-foot mental board, and anybody who doesn't have that will discover that round one,
it doesn't
very
work.
first unit fucking runs across the entire table and shoots somebody point blank in the face. You know, the ranges and movement are all off the top.
I love the instructions on the paint pots. Shake, stir for 45 seconds.
Well, they're Humbrol enamels. 45 seconds is not enough time to shake a Humbrol enamel. Now, it's possible that could be minutes rather than seconds, which would be more sensible.
No, that's seconds, because there are 4 leading zeros. Hours, minutes, seconds. Maybe it's shake for 45 seconds, then open the lid and stir as long as you need.
Stir for fucking ever. I like how they're all upside down. There's a good reason for that. It's because at some point he's painted out of those pots once, and then those lids have never come off again. Fucking enamel bastard.
Same goes for the Revell paints. It's the same. You use them on one project, and as long as you're keeping them open, you're all fine and dandy. But the second you've finished for the day, you just pray that you get those prized open again.
But they do make very good painting tops. It's a nice flat base on the plenty of room. And metal, so good weight to them. But yeah, he's starting to get into these. I was looking today at a set of American Civil War figures from EM4, where for $5 you can get 20 Confederate figures or 20 Union figures, and it's like, I don't know if it's 2 10-man units or 1 command and then enough fellas to make up the rest of it. But I was looking at going, for a $5 regiment 28 mil, you know. In fact, it's probably more than a $5 regiment, because you really only need 12 guys for black powder. Fuck it, I might fight some ACW infantry battles. On a budget with these one-piece plastics.
But he's soldiering away and painting these.
He is. He's like that. He does paint things. It's very annoying. The only good thing is I'll make sure he never gets a game of this. So
because he's the only one painting them, or
yeah. I'm fucking harding him. Won't be so clever then, Glenn, will you? You bastard. Anybody want to play ACW? No, we don't. No. Give everybody a wham bar if they don't play. But he's getting along rightly. The Confederacy has a very sort of mishmashed feel compared to the Union's troopers. I really want to see Swabies. All the colours and their massive pantaloons and fezzes, because they're great. But it's a nice start, nevertheless.
It is, and I like the basing he's done on the guns. Well, we have to see where this leads him.
Yeah. I imagine he'll get distracted because he talked about doing ACW like a year or 2 years ago, and I assume he's only dug them out now because he's trapped in the house. So
slowly chugging away at the pile of shame.
Yeah, I think most of his 40k stuff's painted, and I think his Star Wars Legion stuff's all painted, and so
Yeah. Well done, Glenn. We hate you for the title of the project. And now all together now. Country roads, take me on to the place I belong, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains. Oh fuck, I'm never going to get that out of my head now. Denip.
ACW is a great wrestling championship. Much better than WCW.
Denip. Next. Denip.
Go on the Sandman.
Dave Horse.
Next, you say?
Next.
Dave.
Please be putting the link into the thingamajig.
Yes, dear. Sorry, dear. Coming, dear.
You sound like me when I'm talking to my wife.
Say nothing. It's just a brief little update from Dave.
So, what is these just random tiles, or what does he...
It's a skirmish that plays on a board game. I'm trying to see if there's a picture of the board in here to give you an idea of where it's gone. Because before it was very generic, super generic, where it was just a gridded cobblestone essentially. So it's just been doing a bit of work.
Let's scroll. Ah, here we are.
Oh, you need to go way back into time.
So the
Before we find it. There we are.
Ah, no, I see. So
yeah, so some people had said your prototype. It's a bit unfinished, isn't it? Your prototype
looks a bit too prototypey.
It looks a bit too prototypey. How about you finish your prototype off before you finish your game off? Because people are terrific like that. So he's gone in to do a bit. So we were looking at some of the new factions that he was working on previously, and this is just Just a little aside, he's just done a bit of digitally artwork and stuff for his scatter train and bits, so that's quite nice.
So, if I interpret these pictures correctly, the 1, 2, 3 on the left, top left, means it's climbable to a scale of 3, and so it's a height advantage. And this funny mountain-looking thing is just saying this is a height of 1, giving you X amount of cover, I'm guessing. And the stone is maybe some cover too?
Yes, let's say yes. Because why not? Why not be like
it's an
that?
interesting concept.
I think there's slightly more than that, but...
It's definitely a much more easier to have this printed on your terrain than having to play a game and every time discuss beforehand what is what and what counts as what.
I imagine, because it's quite tile-based at the moment. But it's one of those things where you could make terrain for it without it being too great an imposition, because you're just fitting inside those little, I think they're like 2-inch tiles. So, just trying to see. He's clearly updated the symbols.
So he's not slept since our last update.
Dun, 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 dun.
No, he didn't.
Trackers. No, it's just nice to see, because there's been a period where there wasn't any real work going on, so it's nice to see more stuff happening. Presumably this would have been being shown off at some of the salutes and games expos that would have been occurring, which aren't
Well,
now.
he still can show off his digital art on the expo? Theoretically.
Theoretically, yes, but it requires you to do things on tinterwebs, and it's terrible. Nobody likes tinterwebs.
No. Why do we even bother?
I don't. Try and avoid it. Look, painted miniatures. Here's some of his miniatures.
Lovely.
Don't know if you can see those. Oh, you can, kind of.
I can a bit. They also look a bit like they skipped leg day, but especially the 3 males on the left.
No, they're just thin all over, so to speak. So they're actually quite well in scale.
So there are 2 more projects to go.
Mm.
This is the second to last. This
is.
looks interesting. I don't know
They've
what
come
it
for me.
is.
It's got all heresy. You've all got it in for me.
Oh no. Rick Abbott 41. First founding. So, judging by what I'm seeing now, he's going back to some 30k predating chapters.
Mm. That is exactly what he's doing. This is Conrad Kurtz at his stabby brains of stabbiness. Night Lords, I think he rocks.
That's what he's writing. I seem to remember some of the sculpts, but not exactly the way that they're showing.
They all have bat-winged helmets, which I'm pretty sure Lloyd is turning over in his grave thinking about those, even as we speak. They're not even dead vampires.
Why is he turning in his grave? Because doesn't he like bats?
No, he hates weird shit like that on the armor. And to be fair, for these ones, I have to bet it makes no fucking sense game-wise, fluff-wise, or any otherwise. Look at the incredibly good infiltrators who sometimes disguise themselves as other Marines, but with massive bat wings on their heads. Sure, somebody's going to go, are you really an Ultramarine?
Yes.
I only ask because you keep hitting the light with your massive bat wings on your fucking hat.
Yeah, but
You know,
never try logic.
Out of all of but out of all of the Chaos Marines, they should have kept like the plainest, most nondescript armor. I'd keep it subtle for, coming infiltrating out of the night to scare people, not just have I mean, I don't think I'd be particularly terrified of Batwing Man coming out of the night. You've got massive bat wings on your head, mate. I was going to back up under this archway and you won't be able to follow me.
Yeah, they do tend to look a bit stupid.
Look at that one! Look at that one! The fucking wings on that! Is it Alpha Legion? Oh, I can't remember anymore. They all look the same. Chaos. Yeah. But, regardless, it's quite a nice little start in his Heresy Force. He is taking all the pictures with... I don't know if the sun has been pulled down specifically lower in the sky to blast in from the right, or if all of the light is from there. But I think if you see this, if you just pivot your camera slightly to the right, so you're following the light in, because the colours are getting a bit washed out.
A wee bit, yes. And always, if possible, try to get the light behind you.
Right, are they? Oh well. Still makes no sense for fucking Batwing head people.
Well, then again, there are ample amounts of different armor types in the 40k universe that are totally non-logically explainable.
True.
I think something like the Dreadnought is one of the most logical thing.
Oh, I love the Dreadnought. What do
y-
you do with your dead spiny thing? Oh, you stick it in that fucking machine over there and let it tear on.
Yeah, because
Nice.
he's not dead. You invested ample amounts of money and
life
material
support.
into getting somebody to be such a huge, humongous hulk of a space marine, just to get him shot to pieces. Well,
Like
if his
Daleks. They're
if
all-
its brain still works, put him in a jar and put him in his sarcophagus, and off he goes.
like a Dalek, little jelly bear,
Imagine
wired up.
Imagine a Dalek brain in a Dreadnought. Exterminate, exterminate. Like in the Dawn of War intro.
It's pretty much what they do already, isn't it?
Well, the last one for tonight, little children. Panzer Kaputt's Gangs of Rome, where he did a lot of weird machinery.
Did
And there are no hamsters in the wheels.
many people think there should be hamsters in there? And I put it to you, why, when you have slaves, would you waste hamsters? Throw another couple of goals in that crane. I needed to go faster.
This crane
It's always
only
French.
uses 20 slaves a month.
Yeah.
That's a nice piece of work.
Hmm.
The rigging shouldn't be as hard as on the ship we saw earlier.
Still more rigging than I could be fucked with.
True, but it's working terrain.
It's like the temple under construction. Comes with a very simple A-frame crane that is just to be pulled up by people and then tied off on pegs. And I couldn't be arsed even putting the string around 2 bits of fucking wood for that. So you know what? I'm just not going to build that.
What do you have against strings?
You know, nothing against strings. I don't touch strings. That's how little against strings I have. Not even a bit of skin.
Oh, he does look very healthy, does he?
He's particularly healthy. That's Orko's favourite son there, with his delightful mask that you would love to see coming at you out of an alley late at night somewhere in Rome.
No, not really. Was it? Yes, or the weekend of the LBS where you shown the troll with the rash on his arms. That was quite an interesting idea.
Yeah, I thought so. Scabby.
How did you come up with that?
Because I didn't want to paint him blue and grey like every other stone troll. And I was looking at him going, well, trolls regenerate. And then it occurred to me, maybe it's not stone. Maybe it's just scabs. And then I just started Googling scabs on the internet and going, oh yeah, this could definitely be a really nasty scab. So, yeah, I'm quite happy with how he's progressing.
That's where my money went every month.
Yeah,
Financing
definitely.
people making up weird things for the midgets.
Don't worry, I do all my scab googling on my own time. That's for free. Don't need to worry about that.
Well, since it's part of the XLBS, it's sort of paid.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So this brings us to an end. Jerry,
Yes.
I thank you for being here. I apologize for my lack of Englishness today. I don't know what's come to me. Maybe it's the lack of...
Englishosity.
Yeah, my brain's not working. Maybe it was the
Still not getting any
the
bubbles
weird
for your gum.
talking head yesterday, or the mad lunatic woman singing tunes all the way through.
It's fine. The important thing is all the attention will be on her far away from us, so
And-
we're less likely to get shot.
And since she's always pointing out that she's such a big woman,
Big target.
they will have ample time to eat, and we have ample time to run. And
That's the way to
hopefully
do
get,
it.
you don't have to be the fastest in your group on a zombie attack, only faster than the fat guy. That's sufficient, usually. Never be the first running, you will run into anybody else. Pick the middle
Middle of the
place.
pack.
You surround yourself by people who can be eaten first. You don't want to be a leader.
Hang on a second. Is that it there? Oh. Have you ever heard of Chick Tracts?
I don't think so.
It's a religious nutbag in America who does these little pamphlets that they hand out to people about why Dungeons and Dragons is, actually Satanism and teaching
Oh.
you how to raise dead and shit like that.
Those people still exist?
Very much so. Very much so. Jack Chick is a particular fucking mentalist. However, they used to do a gaming convention in Belfast. In fact, I think they were still handing these out at BCon a couple of years ago, but they did a Cthulhu one called "Who Will Be Eaten First," which is, it's essentially it's one of these little Bible tracts, except it explains that Cthulhu's coming back and we're all fucked, and those who who see him will be driven mad. And the bloke's going, "Why you tell me all this?" You go, "Well, it's clear. There's only one thing to do: is knuckle down, worship him, summon him directly to you, so you'll be the first one eaten, and therefore will be spared seeing the insanity of the world being destroyed."
Well, that's logical.
That is.
If the world is coming to an end, choose your own end.
That's it.
Don't wait for somebody gnawing at your knee caps.
As Sundancer says, suicide yourselves. Do it now. I've cheated the old ones. I'm safe.
Yes, safe.
Don't know what way round. Fortunately, there's a delay on that. There we go. See how he cheated him.
Very much. Especially when he's dead and still talking.
That's always the problem with those. Anyway,
With this
I digress.
lovely thought, I send you all into the night, people. I thank you, Jerry. I thank the audience. I will read you all tomorrow. And I hope the weekend won't be too hard on you, Jerry.
I think I'm getting to talk to the people from Frieligen as one of the group of one of my periods batches. So I'll just be going, face and loopy tails, mad dog shit like that. Tell me it all.
All the
Tell
good
me how the
things.
Call of Cthulhu game is coming along that I'm fucking getting from yous. Bitches.
Okay. Jerry, say bye to the chat.
I already said bye to the chat. Look,
Okay.
see, 90 kids.
Yeah, I can see, but the YouTubers can see.
Oh, that's right. Fuck the YouTubers.
Bye.
I meant to type that. Bye.